kind of went back and forth on whether I wanted to cover this game or not, but I decided that covering Gex is pretty important. Well, my only exposure to Gex previous to this was Gex Enter the Gecko on the Game Boy Color. Being able to play a game from the 90s nowadays is pretty cool, and is something that a lot more companies really need to be doing. And a lot of it isn't just about gaming preservation, but preserving the time as well, the time frame. Like, Gex is a time capsule of the 90s. So the premise is that you're sucked into the TV and you have to go in different worlds and platform your way to beating the final boss. The first world that you enter is a graveyard. It's spooky. It references Jason. It references Scooby-Doo. It's just a pinnacle time capsule of like what was hot in the 90s. I think it's really important that we can look and play these games, even if we don't necessarily like all the comedy or even get the comedy as time goes on. Less and less people are going to be able to understand what they're even referencing. To quote Indiana Jones, "It belongs in a museum." And while I'm glad I have the opportunity to play it, I'm also glad other people will have to be able to play it, whether they play it or not. At least something will be there to represent the time, represent the gameplay. I know CD Projekt has done some reprehensible stuff in regards to Cyberpunk, but you can't deny that what they've done with GOG should be the standard for gaming and DRM and preservation. Having a method that is easier than pirating that game, like GOG does, with essentially making ancient games run on modern hardware and doing all that work for you. You know, you don't have to mess with DOCSbox, even though they use DOCSbox in GOG. You don't have to mess with any of the settings. Regardless, at least it's there, because it's easily accessible, and it's there. People are less likely to pirate your stuff. And I think ultimately that's the lesson that we can learn. Is Gex a good game? Yeah, it's pretty decent from what I played. I was having some trouble with controls, but other than that, it was pretty decent. Decent platformer, looks pretty good considering the aspect ratio and that it's literally like a year younger than I am. I hope I've aged as well as Gex did. I'm starting to show gray hairs, so that might not be a great thing, but if GOG hadn't have had this on their library, able for me to purchase, the likelihood that I would have ever played this game in this format is none. TLDR, having the option to play retro games is great. Gex is pretty decent. I had some problems, but Gex is pretty decent. And I hope you think this video is decent. If you didn't, you know what? Consider checking another video. Maybe it'll be up to your tastes. Maybe leave a comment. Let me know what you didn't like. Either way, I'll see you there. Bye.